Trading Nut, episode 177.
But right now, I try to aim for at least $5,000 withdrawal minimum. So if I get to 5,000, I would pull some of that out. That's kind of like the first target that I would do if I'm up 5,000 for the month or even the week. I maybe take out 2,500 or something like that. But 5,000 is definitely something I would take out.
The market's going to do something. Your job is not to fight it.
The market never, ever runs away. It's always there.
That personal diary of trading will make you a much better trader than...
I could be right about the direction, but wrong about the trade.
Don't focus on the monetary side.
Trying to make too much money on a trade is what I have seen killed every trader.
Your losses offer you some of the greatest insight you can find into your mistakes.
Relax, learn the process.
Candlestick pattern trading is a freaking trap.
Don't be in a rush to become a millionaire.
Let the market tell you what the market wants to tell you.
This podcast is not financial, trading, or investing advice of any kind. What's up, traders? Welcome to another installment of the Trading Nut podcast. I'm your host, Cam Hawkins, and today we've got Doyle Exchange on the show. Now, Doyle has just completed, very recently, his first year of full-time Forex trading. Yes, that's right. He quit his day job. He went full-time. And you guys are going to get a massive insight into that journey, the journey that took him to the day where he quit his job, the journey into that first full year of trading as well, and everything that went along with it, along with a crazy, crazy story about how he met a New York floor trader who helped him construct his trading zones a lot differently or a lot better than what he was doing in the past. So guys, that is coming up. So stay tuned for that. Just a couple of other things before we jump in there. Trading Nut Funded Cup, June Cup is up there for you to register for over there on tradingnut.com. If you want to check out the leaderboard of the prior cup or the cup that's running now, it is over there on City Traders Imperium site as well. So go and check that out. Live streams, we've got 5 live streams happening this week here on the channel. Live trading live streams with a new trader starting tonight. Tonight, the time that I record, and it's going to be probably by this time this goes live, you'll be able to go and watch the replay with Nathan Nolan, who was a finalist on my Trader versus Trader show. So guys, if you want to go and check him out on the Forex London sessions, he's going to be here pretty much every week. So you've got another chance to go and see him do his thing. All right, folks. And the Robot Builders Club ZZ Fib bot. I'm building these to try and pass funding challenges now. So these are for my robot lab, which is part of my Robot Builders Club. This one, it was a bit of trial and error around me trying to get it set up correctly on the actual MT4 account or MT5 account that it's trading on. I struggled with this, but the results are over there and it's actually started doing all right. So you can go and check that out. And I'm building a new robot for June. I do one of these every month. I put them up there in the lab. The guys in the Robot Builders Club can come and download them. But if they're going to use them on a funding challenge, the thing is, you've got to make it unique to yourself, and hence why the Robot Builders Club is perfect for that, because you can tweak the strategies to make the entries different from the entries that I've come up with. You can make the exits different, and it means you can run these bots on a funding challenge platform and be able to not be kicked off for copying trades, which is one of the things they do. So guys, go and check that out. Links under the video there to the Robot Builders Club and everything in there. Now, let's get on with the show here with Doyle. Folks, if you missed out on joining the Trading Nut Funded Cup, don't worry. With over 3,000 traders registered, my sponsors City Traders Imperium have decided to run another, but this time they've promised the prizes will be even bigger and better. Folks, if you want to register for this and show your skills as a trader, click on the link above or the link below the video or in the podcast description, then sign up for free before 15th of June 2022 and get 10% off any City Traders Imperium product just for entering the competition. Good luck, folks, and we'll see you in the cup. All right, folks, here we are on Trading Nut. We've got Doyle Exchange in the house. Welcome to the show, Doyle.
Thank you.
So you're over there in Miami, Florida. You've actually just completed the first year of full-time trading, so no job. We're going to get to hear your story, get to hear that journey to getting to being full-time and then your first year of full-time, which I'm sure a lot of people out there listening to are wanting to get to themselves, and the trials and tribulations that have come with that. So to start off with, how on earth did you get into trading, and how did the start of your journey go?
Okay, so I ran into trading through a mutual friend. I saw that he made a little over $1,000 in a day. I was just amazed. As soon as I saw his MT4, I'm like, wow, I didn't think that was possible. And I ended up joining iMarkets Live just to get introduced to the basics. But after I was there for about 4 or 5 months. After I left, then I started really taking trading a little bit more serious after that. So.
Okay, so when you say you're taking it a bit more serious, what did that entail? Like, so you did iMarkets Live, and then how were you at the charts at that point?
Okay, so iMarkets Live, they show me the basics, like regular market structure, candlestick patterns, and then after I left, I ended up getting Fibs Don't Lie course. He showed me a little more in depth as far as the market, because iMarkets Live, they kind of taught me how to trade with indicators. So when I left, it was kind of like something new as far as learning market structure and trading with no indicators. So that was the beginning when I first started learning how to trade, was through Fibonacci. And then I ended up not using that to this day. I don't use it anymore.
Oh, okay. And so were you primarily just trading Forex?
Yes, only for. Mm-hmm.
And so you sort of said, you decided to take it a bit more serious. I mean, what does that entail, taking trading serious? What does that look like for you back when you first started?
Well, man, when I first started taking it very, very serious, I would just lock myself in my room for like a few hours, just back testing, supply and demand. Like, well, that's the main strategy that I use. But once I started really falling in love with supply and demand, I really started taking it very serious. And I was just studying like 10 hours a day. I trade in the morning, study, go to work, get off of work, study some more until I can perfect my craft and be able to grow accounts. But I never wanted to leave my job until I can be able to flip like at least 3-4 accounts. So.
Oh, right. So your goal was to flip 3-4 accounts before you left your factory job?
Yes, just to see if I have the ability to do it without adding any money to it, So
okay. And so supply and demand, I mean, like, talk us through where you got your knowledge from for the supply and demand approach that you took, because I know, it's based on zones, right? But how you draw your zones and stuff is all very unique to the individual. How did you stumble or fall on something that worked for you?
Okay, so I run into a trader in Houston. He's a private trader. This is what he told me. He said that he worked on the trading floor in New York. That's what he told me. He said, I have a course, and if you want to learn how to really trade the market, get my course. So I ended up getting it. And the way he draw his supply and demand, it's a little bit different, but I found what worked for me, and I kind of like did little tweaks on it to make it more better for me. So that's kind of how I learned how to trade supply and demand.
And so this private trader from Houston that traded on the New York floors, I mean, how on earth did you find him? Out of all the people out there on the internet that you could go and find, how on earth did you find this guy? Because it sounds like this was probably the genesis of what really kicked things off for you.
Yeah, definitely. I know this might sound crazy, but I saw him driving a Porsche, and I'm like, man, like, you driving a Porsche? Like, what do you do? And I just happened to get lucky and run into a trader. He said he was a 6-figure trader, so...
That's crazy. Hang on. You saw him driving a Porsche. How on earth did you get to the point to talk to him if you just saw him driving a Porsche? Or was it on a regular basis he was driving past your house or something? And
no, it was at a gas station.
Seriously? Really?
Yeah, it was at a gas station. Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy.
I mean, sometimes you got to take a chance. You never know who can change your life. Take a chance. Yeah.
So let's get into the detail here. So you were queuing up, or were you pumping gas at the time when you thought, this guy's driving a Porsche, I'm going to find out what he does? Was it you pumping gas or queuing up?
I was pulling in, and he was already pumping gas, and I was about to go into the gas station, and I saw him. I'm like, well, this is a nice Porsche. I'm asking, like, what do you do? He said he's a trader, and the rest was history after that.
And I suppose, because you would have said, I'm a trader as well, or I'm an aspiring trader. Yeah. Oh, right.
But at that time, I was just leaving IML. So it was like in between me trading Fibonacci and learning how to trade supply and demand. So yeah, he definitely gave me that push as far as learning how to really see the aggressive buying and aggressive selling in the market.
That is mad. That is the coincidence. It's almost like you sort of, you bought it to yourself, that chance meeting there. I mean, just to quickly get into the minutiae, and I don't know why this intrigues me so much, but it does, and I hope it intrigues the listeners out there. But I mean, what was this conversation like with this guy? Was it like a 1 minute thing, or was it a 5 minute? You know, did you end up having a chat? Or did he just give you a link?
He gave me his card. So he had a card. I think, well, he did have a course. So he was already like a mentor at the time. It was only like a 2-minute chat. Like he just told me like, yeah, like I used to work for Amazon or something like that. And then I just told him like, yeah, I just want to really get into day trading. Like I'm tired of working at my job. And he just gave me his card. It was very short and brief. Like we really didn't say too much. He had his name on a card, and yeah, it was really short and brief. Like he was already headed out the gas station anyway. So it really was nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So you took the course, you learned what he taught, you applied it. I mean, how did things start to shift for you at that point?
So it was really kind of trial and error because I was losing a little bit because when I was using Fibonacci and supply and demand, I was kind of like bouncing all over the place. So I'm like, okay, what is really going to make sense? I like Fibonacci. I'm making money from it. I like supply and demand. I'm making money from it. But I need to stick to one strategy so I can be able to perfect it. So I traded Fibs for about like a year and a half. But then once I really got better at supply and demand, that's when I said, okay, I'm ditching Fibonacci. Let me just go hard on supply and demand. But it was trial and error. Like I had to critique his strategy in a way to make it more accustomed for me so it can make more sense to me, because I just feel like when you learn from other people, everything may not click. Everything may not make sense. So I had to like critique it a little bit so I can be able to extract money from the market. So,
and what was your win rate like, or your trading sort of stats? What did they look like back then when you were just starting to get the supply and demand thing working?
Man, when I first started trading supply and demand, it wasn't good. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't good. I'll probably say maybe 40-30% win rate. I mean, that's pretty low. But I'm a scalper now, so I try to hold positions. That's when I realized that when you're trying to get a big risk to reward every single day, it may not reach there. So that's why I scalp mainly. But yeah, once I start really fine tuning the strategy, that's when my win rate started to go up and up.
And what were you looking for from a risk to reward point of view back then when you get 30% win rate?
I used to try to go for like a 1-4, 1-5. And I mean, that's very possible. You can get that, but it just wasn't working for me. So I'm like, okay, how can I be able to scalp in and out of the market? I really realized that I was trying to be a trader that I'm not. So I'm more of a fast paced scalper. I want to be in and out of the market, but me trying to catch a 1-5, 1-6, whatever, it kind of made me get out of character because that's not who I am. I'm not really as patient, even though you have to be patient in the market. That's just not who I am. I want my money right then and there. So once I started scalping it, just being in and out of the market, that's when I really started getting comfortable with trading supply and demand.
So did you sort of have a first winning week that you were like going, damn, I actually made money this week, or I didn't lose money this week? And what happened after that week? Did you manage to replicate it the next week?
My first really great week, I was just shocked that I did it by myself. I think I went for like 4 for 1. I lost one trade, 1-4, and it was just like, oh, like I think I can really do this. And then once I really realized that, okay, I don't really need any assistance, I can really do this on my own. That's when I really started getting even more focused. So yeah.
And how much time back then were you actually attributing to trading in your daily routine?
Okay, so at first I was working in the morning and I would try to study in the afternoon. But once I realized that the afternoon session in Eastern Standard Time, that's not a good time to trade, I had to switch to second shift. And when I switched to second shift, now I'm trading in the morning, but it's a better session. I mean, New York session, that's a great session to trade. So I would trade in the morning, study about 3 hours before I go to work. When I get off of work, I'm studying like 3-4 hours, go to sleep and do it the next day. So I would probably say during the week, like Monday through Friday, probably like 6 hours a day. And then on the weekends, I was going hard, man. I was going so hard. I was doing like 12 hours because I just really wanted it. So like Saturday and Sunday, I'll just lock myself in my room for hours. So I'll probably say 10 to 12 hours on the weekend.
And can you walk us through, like, step by step, what exactly your study consists of?
Okay, so I was studying. First of all, I was studying supply and demand, but I also was studying higher time frame confluence with the 5-minute chart, because the 5-minute chart is my entry time frame. But I was trying to see how can I, majority of the time, be on a higher time frame trend instead of the 5-minute, because that's how I can increase my win. But when I was back testing, I was just mainly back testing supply and demand subs. I also trade different styles like liquidity grabs and support and resistance, but supply and demand is just my bread and butter. Like, that's just what I love. But I really was back testing supply and demand for sure.
Okay, so when and your back testing, I mean, how did you approach that? Were you what software you were using, and what kind of reporting were you doing on your back testing, and what did you sort of define as like successful or an unsuccessful back test?
Okay, so I would back test a 5-minute, just the 5-minute setups, and then I would get the win percentage just for 5-minute setups alone. No higher time frame confluence, nothing. And then I would back test when I have the 1-hour chart mixed with the 5-minute. So if I have confluence with the 1-hour chart and I have a 5-minute setup, I would back test that and see what was the percentage. So that's kind of how I did it, because how I trade, sometimes I don't have no higher time frame confluence. It just be a 5-minute setup, but some days I have like the 4-hour in confluence with my setup or the 1-hour. So I have to back test that separately to get different percentages. So that's kind of how I did it.
And what were you using? TradingView or some other kind of software?
Oh, I was just using TradingView. I was just back testing all types of pairs, indices, US 30, etc.
In the replay mode, were you using that? Or were you...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay. Awesome.
Absolutely.
And so what would you, if you had to sort of explain or describe one of your best back testing sessions where you came away and you were like, right, I'm set for the next week. What did that look like from a stats point of view?
Okay. So like I said, 30-40% when I first started supply and demand. But once I started back testing and realized that this strategy can go up to 60, 70, 80% win rate, I just was just back testing, because I realized that the 5-minute win percentage was better when it was better than having a higher time frame confluence. And I know that sounds kind of backwards and people may disagree, but that's just the trading style that I used. When I used the 5-minute, it had a higher win percentage. So it was up in the 70%, 75% win rate. So, yeah.
And was that because the high time frame levels that you were picking out just weren't holding and it was blowing through, whereas on the 5-minute you could see that the market was doing certain things that will give you confidence to get in? How did that work? It seems counterintuitive or sort of not the way it should work.
The real reason why I like the 5-minute for setups and why I mainly back tested the 5-minute is because I only show up to the market at a specific time, and I only back test at a specific time. So if I show up at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm only going to back test during that time. I'm not going to back test no other sessions but my session. So when I back test and I looked at the 5-minute, I'm like, okay, during 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time up until noon, I have a 75% win rate during this time. I'm only going to back test New York session only. I don't back test no other sessions. So yeah, that's kind of how I did it.
Awesome. Now, so that was getting you to the point where you were like, starting to make money. How did this sort of transition from your factory job to the full-time trading? I mean, what did that transition look like from a account balance point of view?
Okay, so I quit my job when I had a little over 30,000 in my trading account, and I know that might be a little low, but I just took a risk, and I was kind of tired of working my job. So once I was able to get my account a little over like 70,000, I was really like, okay, I think I could really quit my job. But yeah, I grew it from 30,000 to 70,000.
So you started off with a $30,000 account when you felt confident?
No.
Okay, sorry. What did you start off with?
I started off with 15,000. Okay.
So you doubled that. You doubled that 15K to 30, and then you felt like, oh, I can quit my job. But you didn't quit until you got to 70.
Yeah, I didn't quit until I got to 70.
And what about like, did you ever consider the sort of funded trader, like these guys, City Traders Imperium, that kind of route, and to try and get the capital, or you felt you didn't need to?
I kind of, at that time when I was quitting my job, I really didn't really want to be funded. I kind of wanted to be in full control. So I kind of just like having full control of my account. And it just seemed like when I was during that time when I quit my job, prop firms wasn't that popular. Like, I really didn't hear too much about it. So I would just throw money into my trading account, throw money into my trading account. So, yeah, I did the long route. I really don't recommend traders to do the long route. Just go get funded. You can just save so much time. But yeah, I did the long route. I just wanted just to have full control.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So let's jump into you quitting your job and your first sort of foray into trading full time. I mean, albeit like what? So you would have had a $70,000 buffer there that you weren't drawing down on. Did you have any sort of spending money that you had?
Oh yeah,
that you could spend
I already had.
basis?
Yeah, I already had money in my bank account. So the 70,000 was just money that I was willing to lose. And I know that's a lot of money, especially coming from a regular factory 9-to-5 worker. But I saved up a lot of money, and I grew that as well. So as I was throwing money into my trading account, I was also growing it. And once I got to 70,000, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go all in. Like, I'm ready. Like, I felt like I was ready. Like, I had months and months of profitability. I'm like, okay, let's do this. So.
And to give the guys who sort of like listening in, perhaps they've got commitments, they got responsibilities, they got a family. Were you living independently, renting or owning a house, paying a mortgage, or were you with family? And did you have a family to support, or is it an easier sort of road?
Okay, so before I quit my job, I was living by my college area. I had my own apartment. And then I ended up moving back to Detroit to stay with my sister at the time. And then once I left her home, then I moved to Miami. So even when I was in college, I didn't have a lot of bills. The Midwest, also living in the Midwest, not much. So it wasn't really a struggle just to save money and all of that. Like, it was kind of easy too. So yeah, I kind of was fortunate enough to live with my sister and save money. So yeah.
And did you ever teach your sister how to trade, or does she have any interest in that?
Yeah. She still trades to this day.
Oh,
she
seriously?
just low key. Like, yeah, she don't really do the YouTube, the online stuff, but yeah, she still trades to this day.
And would you say she's a better trader than you, or are you guys on par? If you had to, she's probably going to watch this, so you want to be careful.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really keep tabs on her MT4, but she's good though. She's good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And you taught her how to trade, or did she go off
she was kind of learning with me. She took a break a little bit, but she ended up hopping back in. So I was kind of like a couple months ahead of her, but other than that, like we was kind of learning at the same time.
Okay.
For sure.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you've first week of trading at home by yourself. What was that like with no job?
Are we talking about in Miami or about when I went back home to Detroit?
What was harder? What felt more sort of like, damn, I'm on a limb here now? Was it?
I want to say when I came back home, it was a different environment. Because the college that I went to Western Michigan University, and it's a pretty decent college. But when I came back to Detroit, it was a lot of distractions. It was hard for me to focus. It really wasn't my home, so I couldn't be as comfortable as I wanted to. So it was an adjustment. I just had to stay focused. Just stay focused on my trading career, But it was tough.
And so that first week of trading did you make bank?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was still doing the same thing. So like the first week when I came back to Detroit, yeah, it was the same thing. Yeah. Man, TPs was hitting, it was the same thing. Yeah, I had a great week the first week when I came back.
Okay, cool. Sure. So were there any stumbling points across this first year of trading where you were like going, I'm sort of doubting what I've done or anything like that? And how can you talk us through those aspects?
Okay, so the first year going full time is I just made a recent video on this, but it's scary. Like, you don't really have no security. It's just you in a chart. You can't blame anybody else. It's just you. What I really learned is just that you got to really believe in yourself, even if you're on a losing streak. If you're losing money, trust your strategy. You did the work and you put the time in and you back test the win percentage, understand that you may be in a losing period right now, but overall your strategy still works. Stick with it. Don't switch your strategy. Don't add nothing to it. Stick with what you've been using that's been making you money. That's one thing that I had to really lock in as far as my first year, because it's easier to trade when you have a cushion as far as your job. But when you don't have a job, it's like, okay, you got to make this work no matter what. You have to make it work. So, yeah, that's definitely what I had to kind of deal with, was just a little bit of self-doubt a little bit. And when I go through a losing period, it just made me a little discouraged, but I just had to just push through it, you know? So, yeah.
And how did you deal with like withdrawals and, you know, keeping the balance at a certain level and, you know, taking enough to live off?
So I have like a schedule. I'll try to do every 2 weeks withdraw, or say if my month wasn't that good, I'll only do one withdrawal. So I'll try not to add more money to it. But yeah, I just try to space out the withdrawals. And the withdrawals there was a nice amount of withdrawals, so I could still live off of it and still be able to keep the account to a nice amount. So.
And have you got like a fixed percentage of the account or the profit that you will take?
Yeah, so I right now, I can't say like when I first started, but right now I try to aim for at least $5,000 withdrawal minimum. So if I get to 5,000, I would pull some of that out. Yeah, that's kind of like the first target that I would do if I'm up 5,000 for the month, or even the week. I maybe take out 2,500 or something like that. But 5,000 is definitely something I would take out every single month.
Right.
For sure.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I've seen that you've done a few account flip kind of challenges from like $10 to 1,000. What's the difference? What's the different approach what's the approach that you take with these? I actually haven't looked into it in any detail, so I've got no idea. I mean, how do you flip a $10 account to $1,000?
I haven't really flipped it. I haven't flipped it yet.
Oh, right. So it's just an ongoing video series.
Yeah, it's still going on. But the way I kind of flip smaller accounts, when you first start, you got to be very conservative. Don't try to get the big home run. The key is to get a bigger RR. But other than that, don't try to over leverage. You're going to blow your account instantly. So try to be very conservative at the beginning. And then once you get a little bit more equity, you can go a little heavy, but don't go too heavy because you can blow it very fast. So the key to growing small account and a big risk reward, that's the key for sure.
And it's okay. So it's not for you, from your point of view, it's not risking more of the account to then get it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Not the small accounts. Now, when I trade a bigger account a little bit differently, but smaller account, no. You got to grab more pips for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of risk would you be doing on that small account flip?
I would probably say maybe 2 to 3%. I kind of risk a little bit more because I'm kind of an aggressive trader in a way. So I risk probably 5%, 3%, depending on how good the setup is. But I'm definitely an aggressive trader. Like some people preach 1 to 2%, but I'm a little bit more aggressive on that. So I don't really preach that, but that's just how I trade. I like trading a little bit more aggressive. So
and where's that account flip at the moment?
$218 right now.
That's pretty good, eh? From a $10 starting account balance. That's very, very good. Right now, so diving into some of the stats on your trading these days. I mean, how many trades are you taking a week?
Okay, so I trade Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't trade Wednesdays. I take 1 and 2 setups a day, so I don't trade that much. I only trade New York session. My risk reward varies. I do a lot of twin trading. So when I see my setup and I enter the trade, my first target is a 1-to-1 RR. After that, I'm taking partials off and I'm going towards a longer term target, whether that be liquidity or a gap in the market, et cetera. But every day, my risk reward can fluctuate. It's not going to always be a 1 to 2 or 1 to 3. It just depends on the scenario of the market. So, yeah.
And what percentage would you take off the table at 1-to-1?
75%, probably 80%. I'm taking majority off because I'm a scalper. So I'm trying to just take something off of every setup. So, yeah.
And when you see those ones that run the extra 20%, what would they account for more than the 1-to-1 75% that you've taken
Some have, some don't. It just depends on how long the target is. If target is maybe a 1 to 5 and close 75% at a 1 to 1, it's not going to really matter. But say if it's a 1 to 6 or 1 to 7, that may be more than that 1 to 1 that I just closed. So, yeah.
And what instruments are you trading?
I trade NAS 100, which is my favorite instrument to trade. SPX 500, GBP USD, and I'm a little iffy about Euro USD. I'm on both sides of the fence for Euro USD. I'm just tired of it, I swear.
And winning percentage?
75% win rate for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. And so, okay, and your higher time frame, lower time frame entries, are you entering on a market order or a stop order, limit order? How does that look?
Market execution, just getting in. Just no pending orders, just getting in when I'm ready to get in. So. And
are you waiting for the close of a candle, or are you entering within a candle?
I'm waiting for the break of the candle. So I trade the breaks of the highs and lows of the candle.
Okay.
Yeah, I can show you that later on today.
Yeah, definitely. Now, if you had to sort of break it down as to what made you different from other guys trying to get to the point where you are, trading full time, being successful at it for a year, withdrawing $5,000 a month, there or thereabouts, what would you say made you different from everyone else out there?
I would probably say that I come to the market unbiased every single day. A lot of traders tend to if they see a downtrend, they're only trying to take sales. And some days it may be a reversal, but with me, I'm ready for whatever happens. So I'm very flexible with the market, and I just be unbiased every single day. Anything can happen in the market, and being biased, that can definitely cause you to lose money for sure. So,
and another random question here, but I did see this sort of in your list of videos. What's your sort of approach to paying tax on your trading earnings?
Paying tax. I pay quarterly tax. I'm trading as a business. I have an LLC. So whenever my accountant reach to me and say, okay, you have to pay this quarterly, like I just paid taxes in April. I show him my withdrawals. The only thing my accountant care about is my withdrawals. He don't care about how much I'm making in my MT4. He only care about how much I'm extracting money from my broker. So once I take the money out, I show him, okay, I just did this, look at my Coinbase or my crypto.com, and then he sent it to IRS, and then that's it.
Boom. Okay, cool. Now, what about if you had to give somebody a step-by-step process to get to the point where you are, or to get to the point where they can leave their job and trade full-time, what would that be?
Don't take the long route that I did. Go get funded for sure. Get funded. But it's going to take a while for you to really figure out a strategy that works for you. You may invest into a lot of education, but realize that the only thing that's going to work for you is a strategy that's specifically for you. So just take your time, bro, and you're going to get it eventually, but take your time as far as rush into quitting your job. Don't rush into quit your job. Just take your time.
And what about a price chart? So you've talked about, sounds like you've pretty much studied everything. I even saw you had a video on smart money concepts and stuff. I mean, if you had to say go away and study three things, what would they be?
Study imbalances or gaps in the market for sure. You have to know market structure. If you don't know market structure, you're lost. So learn market structure. I would recommend imbalances, and I would probably say learn where liquidity lies. Liquidity is very important. So I'll probably say those three things: liquidity, imbalances, and market structure for sure.
And from like a mindset point of view, what did you do back in the day around your mindset? And did you sort of fall victim to things like FOMO, revenge trading, all that sort of stuff? And what do you do now?
So yeah, I definitely, when I first started, I was definitely not disciplined. I was very emotional in the market. One thing that I did do that kind of like calm my nerves is when I first wake up in the morning, I try to listen to meditation music. That just calms my nerves. Like I be in the zone. I drink a little bit of water. I try not to eat heavy breakfast in the morning. I just drink some water, meditation music. And that kind of helped me to be kind of chill in the market, because as I was increasing my lot sizes during my journey, it made me a little bit more emotional. So I kind of had to like tame that a little bit. So I would probably say that I was like any other new trader, very emotional and nervous about losing money. But over time, it becomes normal. Like you lose money. Okay, let's shoot again. Let's give it another go. And over time, I just got better at being disciplined. So it just took time. I'm not the best trader, and I definitely made a lot of mistakes for sure. So yeah.
And so if you've like got a student coming through, getting one-on-one mentoring from you, what would you say? What sort of hints and tips do you give them to try and get their mindset on point?
Well, everybody is different as far as a mindset, but definitely I would say write down your rules on a whiteboard. That really helped me. Write down your rules, try to stick to it. It's kind of hard when you're in the market. You kind of don't even see a whiteboard when you're trading. But I tell them that when it comes to psychology and your mindset, that comes with experience, because after a while, when you lose a nice amount of money, you kind of get tired of yourself. When you get tired of yourself, you start to really buckle down and get serious, because that kind of happened with me. I kept losing money. I got my rules on my whiteboard, but I'm not following it. So it's like, okay, it's either you're going to get this right or you're going to keep losing money. So I just had to just get it together. So
great little bit of advice there, or a tip there, guys. Now, if there was one thing you could recommend for a trader to spend the next month mastering, what would it be?
Seeing gaps in the market, man, imbalances. That was kind of everything. When you see where they haven't filled in, they're going to go up there. So I would definitely recommend to master gaps in the market for sure.
And when you say they, who are you talking about?
The market. I mean, the market. Yeah, the market, because you like when it comes to trading, you will see why they go to certain areas and why they reverse for certain areas. And once you understand why they're filling in certain gaps in the market, then you can know why they're about to reverse. So that's why I say I recommend to traders just to really understand imbalances, because it just makes so much sense.
And is that sort of like a big part of what your sort of a view on the market is, to like what they are doing?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like so your view is on the market is looking into the other people on the market, and
yes, absolutely. Just to see where the buying power and the selling power is coming from, and paying attention to where the gaps are at in the market. So that's definitely something I focus in on every single trading day. For
awesome.
Sure.
Brilliant. Well, we're going to jump into a quick fire round here, wrap things up, and then we'll jump in and do that chart walkthrough video. So how long did it take you to go from newbie to consistently profitable?
A little under 2 years. What's
your favorite entry setup?
Supply and demand setup with a gap ahead. Sure.
What strategies do you use to exit or manage trades?
I twin trade. So I kind of want to say my exit strategy is twin trading. So if I enter 3 times, I would close 1 and 2 positions, and my third position, I will leave for a longer term target. So either I'm getting out at liquidity or another gap. So yeah.
What's your recommended trading book or resource?
Trading the Zone by Mark Douglas. That is a great book, man. Great book.
What's your preferred broker and trading platform?
Gotta say Henko Trade, man. The withdrawal is good, man. Everything be good Henko Trade. So gotta recommend Henko Trade for sure.
Cool. Guess what, guys? Hey, folks, ever wonder what broker I use? Well, I use Henko Trade. It was a no-brainer because I was looking for a broker with good trading conditions and one that wouldn't restrict my leverage. Now, by joining Henko Trade, I've also cut down my trading costs significantly with their super low commission of just $1 per 100K. You can learn more at henkotrade.com or just click the link I've put in the description. Right, do you want to walk us through your worst trade ever?
Oh, man. This was when I was trading Fibonacci. I think it was NFP, or I was trading the New York Stock Exchange Open. I was counter trending on the 15-minute, and I lost a little. I don't even know how much I lost, but basically I didn't have a stop loss. So that was the worst thing I ever did, not have a stop loss, and it was US 30. So yeah, it went terrible. I was super emotional. And when I lost and I blew my account, it was just like, okay, I'm back at square one again. So yeah, that was a rough day in the market for sure.
And how big was the account at that point?
This was at my beginning stage. So don't quote me, but I want to say $1,200. It was a very small account, but I lost all of that in a day. So yeah, that was tough, man.
Yeah. Now, if you could leave our listeners with one piece of advice, what would that be?
When it comes to trading, you have to put your personality into your trading style. Don't try to be something that you're not. If you're not a swing trader, don't be a swing trader. If you're a scalper, be a scalper. You know, like whatever fits you, you're going to know. It took me a while to really understand that I'm not a long-term holder. I don't like holding trades. So I had to find something that really fit me, which was scalping. And that's what I did. So I would just recommend traders out there, just find your way. And when you see the strategy that you really love, it's just going to just make so much sense and you're not going to want to learn anything else. So, yeah.
I love that. That is awesome. That's an awesome quote to wrap up the show. Now, before you wrap up, what is the best way for guys to get hold of you?
On Instagram at Doyle__E. Yeah.
Brilliant. Look, guys, a big thank you to Doyle for sharing with us today. Everything we've discussed here, along with all those links, are going to be in the show notes. To find them, simply search for Doyle in the search box on tradingnut.com. Until next time, I wish all my listeners trading happiness and success. All right, folks, there you have it. Interview done and dusted. Now, we did shoot a video after this with Doyle where he breaks down the strategy he uses today with the one that he trades with full time. Okay, so this is his full time trading strategy that helped him quit his day job and do this full time. So you got to go and check this out. He goes into a lot of detail around this as well. So there's some good examples in there. I know you're going to love it. It's on the YouTube channel. Links probably in a second here on Trading Nut. And also you can check it out over there on the tradingnut.com site. Now, Trading Nut Funded Cup, remember, go register for that for the June comp. Live streams, we've got 5 of them happening this week. They're happening every week. Hit subscribe, hit like, click on that notifications bell, and click all to get notified when they land. We've got Nathan Nolan starting out this week. You'll be able to catch him next week by the time this goes live. And last but not least, my Robot Builders Club. Yeah, we're building these lab bots now to try and beat these funding challenges. But you need to make them your own. As I mentioned at the start of the show, you need to make them your own. That's where the Robot Builders Club is perfect, because what I do is I give you the source code, which means you can use the drag and drop editor that I teach in the club to make the strategy your own, to tweak it so that you don't get the same entries, you don't get kicked off these funding challenges for copying other people's trades. All right, guys, that's enough from me. I'll see you in the next video.